I've been participating in Artfight since 2020, and I've been using the same art program, Procreate, for about those 5 years and switched to Clip Studio recently, but one thing that I noticed about last year with my illustrations is that I feel like my art had reached a pause point. Something of like an uphill battle that I was fighting that I was losing. With only about 4 days left by the time this video goes up, I am still going to be working on Artfight pieces all the way up until the final day, and doing as many revenges as I can right up until that last minute. For this video, I wanted to share my thoughts about my experience with Artfight and why I feel like overexposure by seeing people's artwork at different skill levels can be something that is discouraging for not only new creators who have just heard about Artfight, but also for those who are long time who've been participating and suddenly Artfight doesn't feel the same again. But like everything in life, time changes things. A lot more growth to the site means that a lot more people of a wide range are going to be participating, but it shouldn't stop you and it shouldn't devalue your own art. What I've learned from experience of working with Artfight and accomplishing 110 attacks over these last roughly 6 years and receiving 52 defenses, Artfight does not have to be something where you are struggling and stressing yourself out with, because looking at other people's attacks and varying skill levels will seemingly cause anyone stress, because you're thinking, oh man, I wish I could be like this person who can make 5 to 20 attacks a day. But please remember that this is a optional art challenge event. The games and the points and all of that are for fun. It's kind of like a little level up system for yourself where if you are looking at it, you could say, hey, I accomplished my own personal goal of achieving 1 or 20 attacks for this year. And whether you are like me and you are a small content creator or completely brand new to the platform and you don't have any social media like experience or interactions or followers or anything like that, or on the flip side, if there are creators who have been doing this for years and have their 100,000 or 1 million, it is all for fun and because you're choosing to participate in it, and it's something that I feel like for anybody, it should be fun at the end of the day from start to finish, no matter how long you're choosing to participate. I want to be able to make different levels of art, from simple or simplified, I'm not sure what to call it, to a wide range of intricate, detailed pieces that set the tone and mood for these characters. Even if I don't know much about them, or if they're super popular and I'm able to capture the vibes of these characters for somebody, or it's for a complete and total stranger, I want to be able to genuinely put a lot of work into these characters that I'm making because it's fun and I'm learning something while I'm creating. When I was working on these pieces for this year, I had bookmarked 30, because I wanted to do roughly around the same that I had done from last year, and a bit more than I did from the year before. Thus far, I have done 11 attacks. Technically 15 drawings if you count the ones where I do the characters twice on the same page. I'm not going to ever do mass attacks. I don't think that that's something that I feel like I am artistically capable of doing. And also, trying to balance out that many attacks onto a single piece is something that I feel would require a fair amount of research on the days of Artfight, because a lot of participants, they might not be, from your bookmarks, active. I'm on Team Comedy, and with Team Mystery and Tragedy, when I was going through a lot of my bookmarks, there was a lot of friendly fires because most of mine were all from Team Comedy. So I rotated around my bookmarks. Now I have over 1,000 in a batch for later that I call the little folder for that bookmark, and then I also have all the attacks that I've completed all together, and the current ones that are also for like revenges if it's separated from someone that I have specifically chosen to do an attack, be it for a stranger or for someone's OC that I really want to, whether they're popular or just popular, like known to me, because sometimes I'll hyperfixate on characters because of their lore, even if nobody else really knows about them, or if they are from a popular content creator, I want to draw them myself, because as there may be a sea of art depending on the level of popularity and the amount of fan art they receive, I still haven't gotten to draw them and I want to do that. It takes away that stress when I look at these content creators and what they've created, because I know they started from somewhere small years ago, or however many years it took them to reach where they are. if I ever explode overnight, I want to still stay the same person, but of course there will be changes with some of this where I may not be able to keep up with everything, and I can understand that, where that stress comes from when popularity and engagement and all of these levels of expectations versus reality suddenly explode on you overnight, or over a certain amount of years of growth. That's why when I take time to comment and do revenges, I'm doing it while I can, and why I state very clearly, even now, as a smaller creator, that I will do my best to revenge everyone, and I have my own reasons that if I cannot get to you, I apologize for timeliness sake if I suddenly have too many that I can't revenge, or if you don't have characters at all, I can't really draw a thing if you don't have any characters in your gallery. But also for all of the pieces, something that I want to do for YouTube is to compile all of the defenses that I receive of art of my characters to show them off to everybody. And if somehow I can't do that, I want to be able to put a link so that other people can at their own leisure be able to look and see it, because I know one of the things that I always love getting to see is, even if my art's not featured, I get to see other people's artworks featured in these galleries of a lot of varying creators, and I think that that's awesome. That's one of those things that when I first started watching YouTube, at the end of people's videos when someone made fan artwork for these creators, I wanted to check them out too. It was like a social networking kind of thing that I want to keep it going. As part of the gift giving and optional part of these things with Artfight, making art for strangers or popular creators, I feel like this branch that Artfight kind of has is like just a way for everyone to connect. I wanted to avoid making stiff pieces. I didn't want to end up in what I like to call the writing a letter or a text or an email to somebody because you have to, and not because you want to, and not because you mean it. Eventually it becomes just so repetitive that it's not like a relaxing comfort zone of second nature of like, yeah, I feel confident in being able to make 10 pieces a day. Instead it's, yeah, I made 10 pieces a day, so what? I'm gonna make another 10. That feels so disingenuous, and where a lot of the creativity and all that stuff kind of like overlaps with something that could feel like you're reaching a burnout point because you're drawing the same things over and over again, that to me is my breakaway point. I have learned from watching creators such as the YouTuber and streamer 4-Leaf Island with their mascot Critter, that when I was watching their streams and that little bit of interaction, even if I wasn't able to comment while they were streaming to say anything or ask questions, just being able to watch the videos and getting to see not only what they create and teach with the illustrated pieces, but also getting to see the community that is built around these creators and like-minded individuals. Now, I don't know as much about Clip Studio as they do, and that's why with all of these videos that in the future, I hope that if people do find my stuff, that it's kind of like a branching network where new creators that are on the smaller scale to medium scale of a new generation of artists can all kind of connect with each other, learning from those that came before us and those that are currently working like myself as small-time creators to potential big-time creators to the future of whatever that may be. I would love to see this still continue, because if not for these creators, I wouldn't have even known what Artfight is in the first place, because I learned back in 2020 from a YouTube video by Olive Cow and their compilation of like 100 or 200 attacks to funky music, where they were making these like simplified, sort of chibified styles, but it looked consistent and it was fun to just see their process, because they occasionally posted videos at time lapses, and it was just fascinating to see that, because it's another thing that 5 or so years ago I was like, oh, if they can do it, maybe I can do it too. And another thing with Artfight is if my friends are a part of it, like my husband pointed out that one of our friends from a group is in Artfight, I get to have fun getting to draw someone else's characters for them and say, I like your character or characters, I'm gonna draw them for you, here's my best, and to be able to capture their likeness and just like bringing these characters to life, reading whether they have very little descriptions or a whole big old story of information and lots of art pieces to accompany it to show every single expression and pose that they have. I love that. And something that I don't know if this particular friend is going to be watching my YouTube video, but if you are, hello. I really, when I first saw this character, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Alder, I immediately just wanted to go up to their big ears, and I will risk getting my fingers bitten off if the character was real and didn't like this, but if you've ever seen dogs where you just grab their big ears and you just shake left and right with cuteness aggression to give them head pats, I would absolutely risk getting bitten by Alder to be able to do that. I don't know, something about their ears just makes me want to pick them up and just do the little scruffle to their fluffy cheeks and ears and hair. And I don't know if they'd absolutely hate that. It would probably depend on how long I've known this OC, like if they spawned into existence. Stuff like that, not just for friends OCs, not just for popular creators OCs, but strangers OCs, like this particular character. This is for a revenge for a piece, because they had drawn my character Atlas, and I saw this character and I was like, I do not know the anatomy of this creature, but something about it, when I was looking at other videos that someone pointed out, is like the visual library in the brain can help somebody to turn a character, even if that doesn't exist. Like, if you're looking at an object and you can rotate it in your mind, like those pose for any like human mannequins or anything like that for photo references, like especially if you don't know how to draw something like a car and you need to be able to see what it looks like from all angles. For the character Ord here, I had to work with my imagination to push the bounds to be able to draw Ord here facing a particularly upright angle, and as much as I wanted to draw them from the front, I wasn't sure if their face was fully symmetrical on both sides or asymmetrical, and I also wanted to draw them like they had just pulled back from flight, like they're waving at you. So I think I accomplished that with this piece with my imagination, and it was genuinely something that at the end of the piece I felt proud of for accomplishing, because I also started experimenting with these pieces to differentiate them from last year. I started adding more filters and layers because Clip Studio has a lot more that I could work with, and even if I was doing simpler pieces like this next one, which was another revenge piece for a different artist, I didn't want these simple pieces that were only like a headshot or busts or even the half bodies to feel like they were lesser quality than the full bodies or illustrations like that. Even if I couldn't render them, I still wanted people to understand that if I was doing an illustration piece, whether it was an attack or a revenge, that I wanted to keep that quality and consistency. That's something that I feel like for Artfight, in the spirit of gift giving, should be like a little minimum for myself, where it's goals that I set, and it's something with the output where unknown changes can happen for each week. It's like the fact that at the beginning I was able to keep a consistency where I did like 4 attacks in the first 5 days, but then I dwindled to only 1 or 2 for like 2 weeks, and then I pumped out another 5 after genuinely having 2 full days back to back of not doing anything other than making sure that I didn't shrimp back and I had water and I was able to take breaks so I didn't get carpal tunnel. I genuinely didn't know how much I was able to do, where I looked at some of the art pieces and I'm like, okay, how much can I do in an hour or 2 of sitting down and locking in, versus if I was genuinely having low energy and I could only genuinely do 1 piece, because I may only have like an hour before I have to have an appointment or work. And one of the things is also with the types of illustrations, I'm doing digital pieces, which is my most comfortable medium, but I had also attempted to do animated GIFs a few years back for some of the Artfight pieces, because someone had done an animation for me, and I felt like I'm gonna give it my all, even if I struggled with it, and I did so. And although I've never dabbled in traditional means or any of the others, getting to see what other creators work on is just fascinating to me. Making those choices is something that is just down to me and my own goals and reality of expectations. I learned this from watching the creator Ginger Ninja OWO, actually Ray, and their content, and the way that they lock in with things, with lessons that they learn, is something that I appreciate them getting to share it on the internet. Something that I hope someday, if anyone watches these videos, can learn from, is just genuinely exploring what does work best for you and learning from those who came before you, because I wouldn't even know about most of these things if these creators hadn't chosen to make their creations and characters and videos and share on these vast platforms of different social medias. Because that's one of the reasons why I try not to stress myself out by thinking, oh, I should be doing so much more. When I watched Ginger Ninja OWO's videos, I went all the way back to their oldest videos, all the way up to now, and seeing the progression, and just watching them as a person grow, and their characters growing alongside them. And it made me realize something, that when I was drawing Apollo and struggling so much so that only the creators truly know their characters best inside and out and can shape them to their heart's desires, whether that includes giving them trauma lore or whether it's a glow up for them. It's all so fascinating, and I love learning that from all these other creators, and having that helps to expand my visual library in ways that I didn't know was possible. Having those moments of self-indulgence, even if it's making fan artwork for a character that I love or for a complete and total stranger's character that I just saw suddenly today, and just getting to make art for them, whether it is the first piece that they're ever receiving or one of hundreds. At the end of the day, another thing that I would like to point out to beginner artists and those who have been working on art for many years, the art does not get devalued just because the person that you might have made it for, especially if it's fan artwork and gift artwork, either may not have seen it, can't see it, or doesn't get back to you for 3 years. I will say this, it took someone 3 years to respond to one of the Artfight pieces that I had made, and I don't blame them at all. I understand life gets busy, and sometimes some people only join Artfight the first week, disappear, and come back next year, so I completely understand. And some people are super active, like daily active. Everyone's lives are different. Nobody fully knows the details behind the scenes or screens, and in this era where we have so many ways that people can connect with each other, I'm just appreciative of the fact that Artfight is still something that so many people choose to participate in and choose to not only make art for every skill level, but also just in general the way that these videos that have popped up, even with the strange influx of TikTok and all that stuff that made it overwhelming for people and caused some levels of discouragement, I feel like we are bouncing back with Artfight, and I hope that that genuinely means something to people who are watching these videos, because I might be in a group of small creators that people are just suddenly discovering, and for those that have come before me, I'm taking what I've learned and creating my own stuff from this and getting to share, because I was one of those big starry-eyed people who looked at all these things and said, I want to do that, and then I saw people making art for my characters, and I get to say a big thank you. Spice's creator had found Spice suddenly and was like, oh my goodness, I remember this character, have some art on day one of Artfight, and I love this, and all the pieces that I've received, like this one of Atlas, I want this as a sticker. I'm gonna print it out and put it up on my wall of art. And then we have Luxus here with a Pepsi. I do not know who this character is, but I have put the credits up on there, and I will be linking so that you guys can see all these pieces in more detail with more time. And then that one friend who I made art for Elder is like, no fair, I was gonna draw a character for you, you beat me to it, and then made Ebony, and I love this piece so very much. And then the last piece that I had received for 2026 thus far is of Stencil Fox sitting in grass underneath these beautiful clouds. I love this piece, and I will be linking my Artfight below. Go check out all these amazing artists, and if you would like to check out my Artfight, it's all there. And when Artfight does finish, no matter which team wins, I hope that everybody does have a good rest of the Artfight. And I hope to see you guys in next month's video, where I will be getting back on track with my projects, because I got hit with a wave of motivation when I wasn't working on the Artfight pieces to just go through all of my projects, and oh boy, the brainworms have hit me, and I can't scratch them out until I draw and show it to you all, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to join the Subscribler Squad to never miss an upload. While you wait for the next upload, check out some of the playlists. If you'd like to see your fan artwork featured in the Subscriblers gallery, tag me in it, as I love getting to see what you guys can create and sharing it to others on the channel. My card link is below, and if you'd like to further support this channel with exclusive Patreon rewards, Fennec Foxes for £2 a month gets you access to all of my work-in-progress sketches. Arctic Foxes for £5 a month gets you access to exclusive Patreon-only content, art videos, and comic pages early. Red Foxes for £10 a month gets your name read out at the end of the videos, just like this. Special thank you to Frankie Jr. 13. Stay possum, Subscribblers.